I'm sorry that I'm again, but the circumstances didn't permit Marek to present this. Okay, so this subject is again the collaboration with University of Warsaw, and it's again about cultural ecosystem services, which from the beginning of the building the concept of ecosystem services, it's included are included in all classifications. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. But on contrary to other ecosystem services, recreational and generally cultural ecosystem are place-based. So they have to be an interaction between the user and the environment to do that. So the aim of the study is to analyze this partial distribution of sailing boats, and first of in Masurian's Great Masurian Lakes. We did it in both in two ways: on-site participatory observation, which were considered reference data, and then developing a fully automatic method for detection of sailing boats based on radar satellite images, Sentinel-1. And basing on this development, we were able to analyze daily dynamic of sailings with participatory observations and the temporal changes in the intensity of use within the tourist season among different tourist seasons, using satellite data. If we relate to the cascade of ecosystem service, we're just in the point of the delivery of the ecosystem service. So this is our study area. It's north of Poland. This is the most important this is the area with the biggest lakes in Poland, and this is an area which is extremely attractive from recreational and touristic point of view. And when we look at the activities which are already taken, the first one, which is specialized activity, which cannot occur everywhere, is just sailing. And this sailing is always very important for the region due to the incomes which we bring to the all incomes, profits which the region gains from the tourism. 90% is gained with the sailing. So it's very important for the local economy, but it's always also the threat for the nature state. So first of all, the participatory observation, it was taken from sailing boat while sailing within the Masurian Great Lakes in 3 periods, in August and July 2014-15. The notes were taken every half an hour from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and all activities were counted, and the observation point was localized with GPS. So basing of this, we collected around 500 observations, and basing on this, we were able to recreate the spatial distribution of the boats within Masuria, doing some modeling regarding the standardization of the observation, regarding the observed surface as well as the time of the observation. But the problem is that you can do it once. It's very cost consuming. It's very nice, but you have time and money to do that. So once the Sentinel-1 was launched, we decided to try to do it with radar satellite images. Why radar? Because this is the region with the worst weather in Poland, which is continuously cloudy and optical remote sensing do not have much sense there, especially if we want to have a regular observation, which is the condition of the studies. But we have a small problem, big problem. Our sailing boats are very small. The sail area is around 30 square meters of the standard boat, and the surface area is only 19 square meters usually. So if we compare it to the size of the pixel, it seems almost impossible to do that. But thanks to the radar signal properties, it is quite possible. Okay, it was very often done with the huge ships in the sea, but in the lake I haven't seen such study. As far as I know, nobody did it. But thanks that the reflection from the water is almost specular, depending of the waving, and the reflection from the sailing boats is much stronger, and it's a double bones. So we had the impression that it should be possible. And when we look at the image, satellite image of radar image of the lakes, it is pretty thin that we are able to distinguish the sailing boats from water areas. However, we can always see that we have a lot of noise due to waves. So how was the procedure? Data acquisition, pre-processing, sailing boat detection, and validation. Let's stop a little bit with the sailing boat detection, because we wanted to do that fully automatic, because if not, it's impossible. We had to have a reference regarding the state of the water. So we treated each lake separately. We did the buffer to not take into account in the calculation the vegetation of the shore or whatever. Then we calculated the medium value of the lake, and then using the moving window 11 per 11 pixels and analyzing the standard deviation there, we found the relation between standard deviation and the medium state of the lake to find the potential sailing boats. But there were some problems with connection to the shores, the connection between those. So we had to use the math morphology erode and the dilatation filters, and to divide multi-boat object and so on. And finally, we received a final map. This is the example from 15th of August. Then we did the validation. We did two different validation. First of all, where first validation was done with the reference pulse, which was collected via visual interpretation, and we were validating all the states and changes in the accuracy. Finally, with using all processing steps, we obtain 68, almost 67 of overall accuracy, and using an additional parameter to distinguish the boats, we raised this above 85%, but what is important, our kappa index was higher too. So our method, even if it's fully automatic, it's very efficient, even if the boats are very small. And another wave of validation was the density from our models, which were derived from outside observatories, and do the Pearson correlation between them, and it was 0.72 at the view shot level. So it was quite good results in our opinion. So once we have the method, we applied the method to years 2015-2021. These are numbers of images which were treated for each period. Of course, when the sentient 1 was only A sensor. We had less images than all, but finally we processed more than 2 terabytes of images, and we obtained such results. This is our map of the spatial distribution of the boats in the period. What was very important that the correlation between, especially with these years which are quite, which had a sufficient number of images, the correlation between the distribution of the boats is very, very high. So it's good information for the management of the area. And also what we were very surprised that okay, we're not surprised, but we're very happy that the spatial distribution is very well defined even within the lakes. And for example, pretty clear, we could detect the obstacles, for example, back connection between the lakes, which resulted in less use. Another, for example, no mooring places, which are visible here, that there are lakes which in theory are very good for sailing, but are not very highly used because of this. Another obstacle is the shallow waters, the ends, and here is very nice. It's not very nice for sailing, but we are very happy that we detected this here too. And another obstacle is like stone reefs and so on. So we're really surprised that even such information we were able to derive, and it's very pretty sure where are the most popular routes of sailors. Regarding the dynamic of daily dynamic of sailing, basing on all on-site information, we see that we have 2 peaks in the middays and in the early afternoon, and this pattern is repeated almost every day, except the days with bad weather. And regarding the dynamic of within the tourist season and in tourist season, it was very pretty clear that during COVID time we had huge increase of the interest in the area because we couldn't move. But right now, after when the borders were open, the interest fell down. And within the season, it's normal that we have the highest activity in the summer season, but it is also interesting that the early season is also quite intensive. And this is what was really nice, was the weekly temporal distribution of sailing boats. Of course, Friday, Saturday was the most popular. But when we look at the week dynamic, it is always also pretty well visible the nature of the lakes. For example, the lakes which are used on Tuesday and Thursday and Wednesday in the middle of the weeks, they are quite separated and so on, or just typically transition. And weekends are connected to lakes with very huge, very good infrastructure. So to conclude, first of all, we are very happy that we were able to develop the method which was quite efficient, but it's what is very important for managers of the area, that we could obtain the information which is impossible to obtain from another sources, because nobody can travel in time and nobody is able to observe it with such good spatial decision. So we hope that our data will be helpful for the better management of tourism and nature protection in the zone. Thank you very much.